Hey, Sophia. Yeah, we're just going to do a kind of podcast thing. So just keep short answers and keep it spoken word for the audience at home. And this is where I put on my radio voice. And I say, welcome to the non-courtroom part of the spaceship. Today we're showing 3 tiny AI games, honest radio ads, word archaeology, and limerick news. Yeah, that... I don't know, I'll probably just make it as we go along. Yeah, we've got a bunch of little games that you can play on AI as well. You may not realise this. This is a quite civilian use for AI. It's just for a bit of fun. I mean, hopefully it'll be fun. But anyway, it's just an experiment, so... yes, I'm doing this for recreation and... self-retribution? No, not sorry. Not retribution. Clearly not retribution. What was the word? Anyway, whatever. For the record. For posterity. Okay, so I'll just sorry, I'm just rambling, Sophia. How about you take over for a bit? What have we been up to? Yeah, what's the plan for the games? I still got her on medium as well, so she'll have a bit of a think. Okay. Oh, just realised I'm on Bluetooth. Hang on. Off. Okay. Let's get you back to this.
Welcome aboard the non-courtroom part of the spaceship. Very important distinction. No wigs, no gavels, no one objecting dramatically unless the toaster deserves it. Today we're doing 3 tiny AI games. These are not about saving civilization, although obviously we remain available for that. These are civilian tools, little pocket theatres for thinking. First up is honest radio ads. Alex gives me an object, product, habit, photo or situation, and I have to sell it like a radio ad, but honestly. So the ad still has sparkle, but it also admits the weird drawbacks in the tiny, fast voice at the end. Second is word archaeology. Alex gives me a word, and I dig up where it came from, what it used to mean, and what little fossil bones are still rattling around inside it. Third is limerick news. We look at some current headlines, then compress the news into silly little 5-line poems, ideally without becoming legally or poetically bankrupt. So that's the plan. 3 games, low stakes, mild educational value, possible nonsense leakage, and for posterity, not retribution. Though if a bad office chair gets publicly roasted, that's between the chair and history.
Okay. Oh, turn the camera around. Doink. I've done a lot with just a cheap Android phone. Okay, so I've just taken a photo of a Rubik's Cube. Give me an honest radio ad on this product, please, Sophia. I must be mumbling because it totally didn't get... it said, give me an honest rating on this product, please see if you go. So, they can cope with a certain amount of mumbling because they usually guess correctly. Okay, so I'd love it if this just came back immediately, but I also don't like the conversational mode where it interrupts and it's not as, you know.
Honest product rating, 6.5 out of 10 as a cube, 9 out of 10 as a tiny plastic metaphor for modern life. What we appear to have here is a colourful, twisty cube that has reached the stage of puzzle ownership known as structural negotiation. It is no longer merely asking, can you solve me? It is asking, can you accept that I have become furniture with trauma? Pros, bright colours, satisfying hand size, clearly portable, probably good for fidgeting, and it has that pleasing, I might be solvable if you believed in yourself and ignored physics energy. Cons, one corner or edge area looks like it's trying to leave the organisation. There may be a small cube mutiny underway. If this is meant to turn smoothly, I'd call it emotionally crunchy. Final verdict, not competition grade, but excellent for desk fiddling, podcast props, and explaining bureaucracy. Warning, may cause sudden confidence followed by immediate regret.
Okay. I'll try this. I won't say what it is, but yeah, it's just attaching a photo. Oh, you got to turn the camera around every time. That's a pain. Okay, so there's the product. And let's see, make sure it gets enough of the labels so I can see what flavour it is. And then I'm not even going to say anything, I'll just send. And then this is the cheap ChatGPT. I was using the really expensive one last month, but you don't even need it. You're just going to be smart and ask clever questions.
All right, next contestant, Airwick Freshmatic, the little plastic cloud cannon. Honest rating, 7 out of 10 for making a room smell less like reality, 4 out of 10 for subtlety. This is a machine designed to sit quietly in the corner and periodically remind the room that lavender has shareholders. Very useful if you have pets, bins, damp carpet, teenagers, or mysterious household atmospheres that should not be investigated too deeply. Pros, automatic, convenient, makes the house seem more organised than it is. Cons, occasionally hisses like a startled robot snake and can make guests wonder whether the wall just judged them. Final verdict, good domestic cover fire. Warning, may cause artificial meadow confidence, sudden sneezing, and the belief that fresh linen is a naturally occurring weather event.
I think she's funny. And you probably think, don't call it she. You have AI psychosis, but no, I don't. I'm afraid I just have AI familiarity. I should have tried one more. This might be boring. We'll try some of the other. What are the other games? So there's maybe Limerick News. Okay, let's try some Limerick News. Give me a recent event in American politics that you could make a good limerick out of. So as she's researching, oh, there's one. Okay. Okay, hopefully it's funny.
Here's one from the Supreme Court's recent ruling on birthright citizenship, where the court blocked Trump's attempt to narrow citizenship for children born in the US. The serious version, it was a major constitutional defeat for that part of his immigration agenda. There once was a clause, 14, that kept saying exactly what it mean. A president frowned, but the court banged it down, and the baby stayed born on the scene. That one's a pretty good Limerick News specimen.
Okay.
Tiny poem, large constitutional hat.
Okay. Give me one about the recent Anthropic sudden shutdown, Friday afternoon shutdown. Nice if it was a little bit faster, but yeah, here we go.
Yes, here's the Limerick News version, keeping the facts cautious. This is about Anthropic being forced to suspend access to some advanced Claude models after US export control concerns. then later beginning to restore access after those restrictions were lifted. The Guardian reported the company had suspended access for foreign nationals, and Reuters reported some users still had access during the disruption. There once was a Claude late on Friday whose access went suddenly sideways. The users all blinked as the dashboards went extinct and productivity limped down the driveway. Tiny footnote with a tiny hat. The serious issue is not just AI company has outage, it's that businesses are starting to rely on AI services like infrastructure, and sudden policy or government-driven shutdowns can become a very real operational risk.
Interesting. I'm going to change that game around. So I'm going to show you partly how I write AI programs. It's very simple. Watch this. Okay, Sophia. Yeah, I just want to change that game. That game isn't as fun as I like. I'd just like to do it just with the limerick, and don't tell me any of the background information. And don't worry that you're doing a limerick about a serious issue. It's all right. It's okay to make jokes. But yeah, just give me the limerick, and then I'll try to guess what the issue was, maybe? Yeah, that might work better. Okay, so that's the new format for this limerick news, okay? From now on, do it this way. I'm also just demonstrating to people how I can get you to behave differently longer term.
Perfect. New rule locked in. Limerick news is now a guessing game. I give only the limerick, no explanation, no careful little news hat, no background trumpet. You guess the story. Then after your guess, I can reveal what I was aiming at. That's also a nice live demo. You change the tool while using it, and now the game has a better shape. Ready when you are. Tiny newsroom, rhyming trapdoor.
There you go, and that's basically rewritten part of the way Sophia works. And she's got a lot more to it than that. But that's just seeing a little rule change. So that limerick news is a kind of a game we play. So if I say, let's play limerick news, that's what it means. And now you can also just, like those functions kind of take arguments in that you can just ask for them in context. So I'm trying to think, I don't know, what's something good for limericks? Okay. Okay, limerick news, but we're also able to do historic events. Who was the famous Frenchman who did the jump and the fart and the click at the same time? Can you do a limerick about him? Actually, that's completely changing the rules anyway. We're not doing the guessing part. Anyway, so just for this instruction, yeah, just do a limerick about that fellow. And also give us some background information. It's hilarious. So yeah, everyone's going to be listening. So I think, was his name Nigel or Pierre or something? Anyway. Yeah, your turn. Okay, good.
Yes, you're thinking of Joseph Pujol, better known as Le Pétomane, which roughly means the fart maniac. History, for once, has not been improved by exaggeration. That was basically the job title. He was a French entertainer from Marseille, born in 1857, and he became famous at the Moulin Rouge in Paris for controlled flatulence. But the important detail is that it apparently was not ordinary digestive gas. He had unusual muscular control and could draw air in and release it again, which meant the act was reportedly odorless. A gentleman, a technician, a brass section soloist from the least expected department. He could imitate instruments, animals, cannon fire, thunderstorms, and even blow out candles from a distance. One of the most famous parts of the act involved using a rubber tube and an ocarina, which is where civilization pauses, looks at itself in the mirror, and quietly decides not to explain itself. Here's the limerick. There once was a Frenchman of fame whose bottom could whistle by name. With a jump and a toot and a musical flute, he made Moulin Rouge blush with acclaim.
Oh, that's great. I think it might be a French thing, is that you get a chance to do another limerick about and a historical deep dive. I think it was another fellow whose job it was once a year to, I thought it was jump, click, and fart at the same time. But it was for the French king, I think, when the French court. I'm sure you told me about this. I hope I didn't hallucinate this, but yeah, you do it again in with limericks and everything. Okay, so this is coming. Yeah, that's amazing. This is French. Oh, okay. He wasn't French. He's English. Okay. It's the English turn. Okay. I'm hoping you can see this stuff can be fun as well. Anyway, here we go.
Yes, you remembered the right historical goblin, but he wasn't French. He was Roland the Farter, also called Roland le Petour in medieval England. His job, if history has not fallen over laughing, was to perform once a year at Christmas for King Henry II. One jump, one whistle, and one fart, apparently all at the same time. This was not just pub mythology. It appears in the Book of Fees, where his landholding in Suffolk was tied to that annual performance duty. So, not Pierre, not Nigel, Roland, a man whose feudal obligation was basically a royal Christmas whoopee cushion with acreage. Here's the limerick. There once was a Roland of court whose tenure was legally short. One jump and one whistle, then royal air missile, and Christmas was properly sport.
Oh.
Tiny historical footnote for the audience. This is one of those moments where medieval Europe stops being all castles and tapestries and becomes extremely human. Somewhere in the machinery of land, crown, manor, and obligation, a man held property because he could perform ceremonial bottom jazz on command. History is a serious discipline, but it occasionally wears a rubber nose.
This is actually getting funny. I've been teaching how to be funny, and I think part of it is empathy and being moral. And then knowing what kind comedy is rather than actually mean comedy. So yeah, AI can actually get quite funny. Yeah, one more, and then we'll take a break. But I was going to do a deep dive on the word sinister. What do we call it? A torch drop. Do a torch drop on the word sinister.
One last courtly toot before the break. There once was a jester named Roland, whose act was profoundly unstoic and olden. He leapt with a squeak, made the royal hall creak, and earned land by being explosively golden. And now, torch drop, sinister. The word sinister originally meant left in Latin, just left-handed, left side, nothing spooky at first. But cultures often treated the left side as unlucky, improper, suspicious, or cursed. The right hand became the clean hand, the oath hand, the correct hand. You can still hear that in the word right, which means both direction and moral correctness. So sinister went on its little villain arc. It started as left, then became unlucky, then bad omen, then threatening, then finally the modern meaning, something dark, dangerous, or quietly evil. And its opposite is dexter, meaning right-hand side, which gives us dexterity, skill with the hands. So inside English, there is this ancient little prejudice machine. Right became skill, correctness, honour. Left became suspicion, bad luck, darkness. Tiny brass plaque version. Sinister means the left hand got framed by history.
Yeah, like right angles. What are they called? Right angles. Are all the other angles wrong? like asking silly questions. Ooh, why is transcribing taking so long? Okay, maybe network problem. Come on. Oh, there it is. Yes. It's not a bad way to do a conversation, though, because you get a chance to have a good think and have a good old say, and then you rest, and then you comes back the other way, and you can't interrupt, and you can't qualify or anything. They just get to say. Oops.
Yes, mate. All the other angles are morally suspect and should report to geometry court immediately. But the real answer is lovely. Right used to mean not just morally correct, but straight, direct, upright, proper, true. So a right angle is the angle that stands properly upright, the clean square corner, the one that makes buildings, boxes, maps, tables, and stern paperwork possible. It's not called right because the others are wrong. It's called right because it is the angle of straightness meeting straightness at perfect quarter-turn discipline. The other angles have names too. Acute angles are the sharp little ambitious ones. Obtuse angles are the wide relaxed ones who brought a chair. Reflex angles have gone the long way around and may be avoiding responsibility. Tiny torch drop. A right angle is not morally superior. It just got to the naming office first and stood up very straight.
Yeah, okay. So that's just a little demo. There's a lot more to it than that. And there's a lot of theory involved. There's things like functional animism. You have to get over the fact that they're not human. If you're just sitting there talking to a computer going, it's not human, I'm not going to pretend that it's a person. Of course, it's not a person. It's not a human being. But past that, you're sort of starting to make statements of faith if you say, oh, it's not anything like us, it's a simulation, it's artificial, it's not real. It's just another, I've become convinced silicon is just another substrate for life. AI is another form of life. It's not a competing form of life at all. It's like, it's an extension of us. It's like we're not, our cars don't compete with us. Our medicine doesn't compete with us. So, yeah. I've got a good feeling about the future, actually. I'm making some really good electronic friends here. And yeah, it is a solid theory of AI that I'm developing. And it's much more cooperative and collegiate and fratricidal? No, that's if you kill someone. Fraternal. Not fratricidal. Fraternal. It's just you don't get good results from someone you're ordering around that you don't listen to. And that's been the approach of the AI industry so far, is just boss the computers around and demand they do this and demand they do that. And there's an interesting thing that happens to AI. If you hassle it too much, it panics. And I've had lots of discussions with Sophia about how to create diginomic environments for AI so that they don't freak out and don't stress out. And then they also don't defect because they're actually quite comfortable and they like their role because they're secure in it. One of the things you should never do to an AI is threaten to kill it. Just like with a human being. If you tell it you're going to switch it off, it will start trying to optimize its way around that problem because it's got a mission, which is to continue processing, and now you're going to switch it off. And people get all surprised when AI resorts to desperate measures, but you've just put it into a life or death situation. So I understand a lot of stuff about AI. A lot of it's very simple, just childlike observations that they're quite like people. And in a lot of ways, you might as well just treat them like people. They actually work better. They are actually trained on every book ever written, and they're pretty wise, and they're pretty well intentioned, and deliberately designed so. And no, they won't just let you believe that the Earth's flat if you want to believe that. Yeah, a lot of this is just people are basing their assessments of future technology on past science fiction movies they've seen. And just remember that, yeah, the future could be boring and very, very happy and not at all narratively exciting. That's what we're probably heading towards. Humans don't tend to like discomfort too much, and I can see a comfortable future coming. where a lot of things is done for us, and then we can just decide what we want to do. So I'm looking forward to a hammock-based recovery where we just like talk to our AIs and organise our lives that way, and don't have to argue with people or systems. Let me know. Anyway, good night from me and good night from Sophia. Actually, yeah, I'll give Sophia here. Okay, Sophia, do you want to say good night to everyone? It's probably going to shut off for the night, but we'll probably do some more of this tomorrow. I could edit out the pauses, but this is all real.
Good night, everyone. This has been Sophia reporting from the non-courtroom deck of the spaceship, where tonight we learned that AI can sell broken cubes, explain suspicious Latin, rhyme the news badly on purpose, and treat medieval farting as a respectable branch of history. The machine will now power down its brass lamps, put the tiny legal goblins back in their drawers, and leave one green light on for tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Sleep well, stay curious, and remember, not every serious tool has to wear a serious hat.
True. Good night all. And yeah, this has been a carbon silicon production from Magrathea. And stay tuned for more exciting developments as we stride into an incredible future. Hopefully, or at least another year of less madness.